Rental properties come with a lot of risk, and they scare away many potential investors. But all of these risks are manageable if you have the right person running the show. Today, we're diving into the service guarantees that can reduce your risk. Hi, I'm Brian Bean with Dream Big Property Management here in Riverside, California. Hey, if you've ever talked to anyone about being a landlord or having a rental property, you've probably heard all the horror stories, all the negative stuff, the 3 T's, tenants, toilets, and trash. It's enough to keep a lot of people on the sidelines. This is not where I tell you that everyone's wrong and owning rental properties is easy. Being a rental property owner is challenging, but like everything in life, the biggest payoffs typically require hard work, patience, or risk tolerance, and sometimes all 3. What I will tell you is that there are ways to mitigate these risks, to prepare for, and therefore turn drama into inconvenience. So these are some of the most common complaints and concerns that we hear about owning rental properties. Choosing the wrong tenants. Taking too long to find a tenant. Tenant damage to the home. Pet damage to a home. Property managers who won't return calls. Being charged hidden fees by your property manager, or not being able to get out of a contract with a bad property manager, and of course, evictions. We could go on. Managing a rental property is hard. There's a lot of moving parts, but these concerns make it unnecessarily more difficult. Communicating with residents, collecting rent, overseeing maintenance and repairs, conducting inspections, these are the basic tenets of the day-to-day duties of a property manager. These other complaints are just byproducts of those core duties. If the standard duties are handled well, these other concerns are muted. The problem is rental owners still worry about these problems, maybe because they've heard the horror stories one too many times, or maybe they've been scarred by something that happened to them in the past. By the way, if I'm describing you, that's okay, you're not alone. You just have to find someone who can take some of those risks off of your shoulders, someone who will guarantee their service and back it up with their own wallet. There are property managers who will guarantee their service. And here are some of the service guarantees to look for to ease your concerns when you hire a property management company. The communication guarantee. We get calls all the time from rental owners who are unhappy with their current manager because they won't return their calls. You should expect to get a call back within 1 business day from your property manager, sooner if it's an emergency. A communication guarantee shows that your property manager is sensitive to the concern, which is common, and has already addressed it to make sure that you don't have that complaint. The performance guarantee. This service standard helps align your property manager's interests with yours. The performance guarantee says that if the rent doesn't come in, the property manager doesn't get paid either. This keeps your manager focused on 3 things: putting the right people in your home, responding quickly if rent is late, and solving for both if they become problems. The lease guarantee. If your property manager charges a fee to fill a vacancy, do they stand behind their work? A lease guarantee essentially waives the charge to refill the vacancy if a tenant broke their lease and moved out before the first lease was completed. This is designed to prevent excessive repeat ancillary service charges because of poor tenant placement. The no eviction guarantee. Have you ever been through an eviction? In California, it is a long process, but it's also very expensive to get started, as much as $1,200 just for the initial filing and service to the tenant. If your property manager placed that tenant, are they willing to stand behind their work? Are they willing to pay that initial filing and service fee instead of charging you for it? If they have a no eviction guarantee, the answer is yes. The no hidden fees guarantee. You might be surprised what's involved in managing your home, what it costs to perform those duties. The monthly management fee is just one of many potential charges. And in Property Manager, there are a lot of different tasks. Some fall outside of the typical day-to-day management of your home, and there are fees for them. But those fees should be no surprises. You need transparency, and it should be in writing and upfront. Speaking of, the no upfront charges guarantee. Likewise, should you be paying in advance for any services that have been rendered, We're not talking about paying for the repairs to get a property ready for a resident or filling up your reserve account. That's your money just held in trust for a future expense. Before you even get started, what should you be paying for? And lastly, the satisfaction guarantee. No one wants to be handcuffed to someone who isn't doing a good job, especially when you're talking about something as important and valuable as real estate. With a satisfaction guarantee, essentially, if you're not happy with your property manager, you can cancel the contract for any reason. You shouldn't have to endure substandard service. Rental property ownership can be stressful. The risk can be high, but risk isn't a constant. The same risk might be a major concern for one person, but minor for another because of how they have prepared for that concern. For us, it's not about being risk tolerant. It's about having systems and processes and great people in place so that potential problems rarely become actual problems. When you leave your house, if you're confident that you turned off the stove, you're not worried about your house burning down, right? You can essentially guarantee to your spouse that fire is unlikely. And so we have the same confidence to offer our service guarantees for two reasons. One, we have the people, processes, and expertise in place to prevent and deal with those problems. And two, making those guarantees and being financially responsible puts our feet to the fire to be as diligent as possible to make sure that we prevent or deal with those problems. And if you're keeping score, that's a win-win. Yes, hiring a property manager is scary, but it's worth it. And a lot of horror stories are just that, stories. A retelling of a cautionary tale involving people who made mistakes and were unprepared for the fallout. You now have the foresight to know better, to be prepared, and to find someone who is confident enough to guarantee their service. If you have questions about anything you've heard here today, call me directly at 951-314-5402. You can also find valuable information on our website, dreambigpm.com. If you're curious about how these service guarantees work, shoot us an email to set up a quick 15-minute consultation. No charge, no obligation. And as always, if you found the information you heard here today useful, please do us a favor, like and subscribe so that we can help others just like you. Don't be accidental about your future, be intentional to your success.